link.
Okay, and I bet you it means that Lisa may be on another one as well. We'll see if she pops on here shortly.
I just emailed her the new link to yours, so hopefully she gets that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. You can see we are still keeping the agenda up to follow. We have adjusted the focus to be on economic recovery strategies and identifying these cohorts and these coalitions of actions. As you're going to see, we've been sliding around like this is one or two grants that we discussed, but really that we're on a topic, we're on a few of them. And so we'll give a second. I didn't see, oh, we are right on time. Good. And we're recording, so we're prepared to post this up on YouTube and make it available. I appreciate everybody coming in today and taking the time to meet up with us on this Tuesday. I wanted to just recognize, again, I apologize for some of the adjustments in the email for getting to the meeting link. I know we're going to do a little adjustment to pull it off of the total forefront of community system navigators and bring them in again as one of the main industry spokes and part of the cohorts of industry that we create as the Oregon Institute and its main grant writing team. The grant writing team that meets later this evening, and not all of you are have the opportunity or time or space to participate in that, but that is where this long-going team has been working together on strategies that have impact, not only for what starts as 100 and change with MacArthur Foundation and the wide spectrum of global impact, but down to our towns and streets with navigating businesses and identifying agencies' actions and putting those together through nonprofit proposals. This one that brings us all together on this hour is about navigating business opportunities in the light of impacts like pandemics and the the subsequent economic pressures from mandates and how to get through that. The Community System Navigators grant did get put and flipped right into a data grant that was designed to create and create well-defined cohorts of companies that could feed back data. And so we have submitted that grant, even though that deadline got adjusted till today is its new deadline, now just passing. I had gotten it in under its first deadline, and so I didn't really mess with it again. It did not get kicked back. It was assigned a number right away, and I left it. So the other open grants that may pertain to some of you and may not are, we were very much into the EDA, which is the Economic Development Administration. Their Build Back Better concepts that we proposed on hemp and meat, those are fully submitted, and we wait to hear from the agency in December to move to phase 2, which would be to put the full concept together. And we're prepared, and we get our teams ready without putting too much manpower or gas into it until we've been notified that concept has been accepted. In the meantime, we watch everything coming out of Economic Development Administration and from Better Jobs, where we're seeking partnerships because we weren't quite the one to lead that Better Jobs proposal. We went to go find out who in our regions were already applying or already had already had applications in motion, and we seek to join us one of those partnerships. And whether that manifests itself or not, we continue to read them very, very intricately and build them how we would propose a solution. And we did the same thing with tourism. And we will prepare to look at the Economic Development Administration's adjustment grant, this is their insight to trying to make a monetary adjustment in regions that will subsequently give a life support link to all these different regions and puff it back up. And now the one that you'll see as well on this list is with the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health. This is a new one on our list, and probably makes quite an exciting insight to a lot of our industry spokes and cohorts as we open up our first clinical study. We prepare to lead the clinical study in a partnership with the partners in our own building and within the Healing and Wellness program. That I say that because we're going to utilize this opportunity to do a clinical study in the world of THC and affording us an opportunity to introduce some of the products coming out of the CBD line with our with some of our industry spokes in Southern Oregon, and even now across the United States. And we're seeing some of their data come in, and there's an opportunity for us to fulfill a grant request right here in Oregon, right here in Cottage Grove, with NIH to observe the impacts of patients who are receiving patients or participants that are receiving 5 milligrams of THC in forms like gummies or other ways of application. And it's somewhat new. We haven't been into the world of THC really, but we have been into the world of what it means to start and run and gather data in a clinical study. And interestingly, the way that this grant was written, it did make the process and regulation around creating the clinical study for this kind of data easier to understand and easier to apply, and was relative and aligned with other products that we are being introduced to, even from the hemp world, the CBD world, and even as far as I believe it will play a role into some of the patents we've seen in the salt lamps or the salt therapies. There's an opportunity for us to help the industries that I'm already around right now develop and fully open a facility that could initiate and facilitate a clinical study, and maybe contribute to our full approach on workforce wellness and that overall insight and data that we seek to collect and provide evidence for. Then, and in the realms of wellness, that's a clinical study. And so I'm excited to take that step. I have some partners who I feel are industry experts reading the grant to fully consume what's required of us and get their full presence and participation and commitment. And so that's progressing. So that's what the current open grants are, as we continue to really be this strategic think tank for economic recovery, relief, recovery, and expansion strategies. And in support of our industry spokes and the cohorts that we really want to continue to help navigate opportunity today and help foresee and share what we see in funding opportunities and expansion for them. So we're always keeping the industry spokes and cohorts in the forefront of our mind. That being said, I want to remind them that anybody who has open accounts with SBA, keep your eyes with them. Go back and check your portal for information pertaining to any products that you may have taken with SBA. Go back and check it out, follow up on it, review your product or loan that you've taken with them. There may be new opportunities. There may be an opportunity to expand your funds. So just take a notice to that. And if you haven't already done your forgiveness for your PPP loans, then I have been able to access that new portal that's available on SBA so that you can do your PPP forgiveness right there. And it was very fast, it was very efficient, and it was good to see SBA take over that critical portion of this benefit that for the employers to utilize, to be able to utilize these funds for payroll. It was a little bit shaky there on the back end on how they were going to get forgiven. And some of the banks and funding institutions weren't running all over themselves to provide that forgiveness opportunity. So I was glad to see it. It's very easy to use, and I encourage you to look at it. The other thing I really want to bring to light for these our industry spokes and our partners is our teams work diligently on creating market evaluation reports, and we create those market evaluation reports very specific to what the Economic Development Administration is looking for, what SBA, what the Small Business Administration is looking for, what the focus of the nation in terms of jobs and manufacturing and tourism and even crimes and happiness. And we take in all of those details to evaluate for our own grants that we seek to present ideas of solutions to certain regions. We make it our business to learn about those regions to the best of our ability. And so those market evaluation reports are within this team of action, and it's available to you to be able to, I'd say utilize, but I do believe that, that they're there for us to utilize together. That's what I would say. And those are becoming one of the most valuable parts of this program, was our ability to do an evaluation report. And that comes from the way that we see things. So that's my report for the spokes and cohorts and those partners. I appreciate seeing, I know Hibis popped on and off, and Pawnee's here, and Richard is here also, which all of them represent these insight into industry and business. And those of you who are going to be seeing this recording later, I do appreciate your presence and your participation as industry stakeholders and spokes to our hub programs and parts of the industry essentials that make up the cohorts that we hope to motivate. So I appreciate it, and feel free to contact me if you have any questions or things that we can help you with in your industry and in your position to play a role. So thank you. I'm going to move on to the community system navigators. You can see that we've switched, adjusted the forefront of this webinar and have brought the focus of community system navigators and its that nonprofit status as the lead of the navigators. And we really brought it back into the office and back down to the core of what initiated community system navigators in support of SBA products and in support of all the our nation's administration's focus and action to support economic resilience from the ground up, from Main Street out. And I I support that. And I created a nonprofit to support that. I put a brilliant thinker in finance in charge of that nonprofit to motivate its action, to be a resource to all businesses that were of a mind to contact it. And so it's time now to send that out and make it available across our regions, and bring it into all of the chambers that we have a network for, and really get it motivated. So we'll push it forward now. And every week on Monday, the board for Community System Navigators meets and checks in and readjusts its focus, and to always keep it up to date and moving. And so we will maintain that and keep it going. Good afternoon or good morning, Greg. I'm glad to see you.
Hey, sorry, I was in another meeting that just ended, so I'm here now.
No worries, and we'll post it and record it. We just went through a few of the grants up in the beginning. Overall the main focus. We did adjust the agenda a little bit to also adjust. You'll see we've adjusted the focus, kind of widened it a little bit, and kind of revert back. I don't think you've missed much. But I'm going to move forward on to, I'm sorry, go ahead. You have, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject something. I had a call yesterday from some people out in Florida who just received a $2 million grant for labor from the U.S. Department of Labor for looking at hemp for construction and retraining prisoners in the prison industries out there for jobs when they come out, like a pathway for jobs. I thought that was kind of interesting. They want to circle back to me after the next meeting with the senators or something over there about the 18th. But I thought that was kind of interesting that something they got this grant that's coming out. Well, they're receiving, I think, the first part of 2022 in relation to retraining. And it was, even though it's a small grant, it's one of several apparently.
Yep.
Have you done anything with them?
Well, we weren't on with the Department of Labor, but we seek partners right now. What we went a little bit over was that we have an open grant with Economic Development Administration for Better Jobs, which is seeking partnerships who can put, like you're saying in this identified solution was, putting recycling the prison prisoners to manufacturing or to contract construction. That
Yes.
was part of the
Yes.
solution. Yep. This is, and so we see that we weren't really we're not the lead on that, but we sure the heck can play a role in a partnership. And so we have clearly we've taken in this grant, and I believe that Rebecca and would say we have a pretty good clear understanding of what it would take to write that grant, and it could be so much more, 10 to 20 times that grant if we could fully articulate it across the nation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and Greg, sorry, if you could send me that information, I would love to look that over.
They haven't sent anything to me yet. It was just a phone call discovery as to whether I would be available to consult with them, given my experience in this field.
Yeah, they'll probably like to hear that you happen to be associated with a strategy team that writes on that behalf, because it's not our grant. We're here to write it for some. We're here to write it for somebody else. The only thing that we could do is help support our role in IATHA or our partnership role. And it could be it can be connected. The thing about the EDA grants is they should be connected to each other. So we put out this major grant that says we have a concept for the hemp manufacturing, and then we follow that up with this partnership that also involves better jobs by better training, and those are the lovely cycles that they're hoping that we will include. And so it would be good to it would behoove their projects as well for us to start to connect them in, and yeah, it would be good for us to get it all together.
Yeah, one thing I have noticed, I was talking to one of my associates last night in New Zealand, and like I've been gone from there since 2017. And in 2015, 2014, 2015, we were making overtures for grants in New Zealand to various authorities for hemp construction, innovation, Ministry of Business and Innovation and Environment and so forth and so on. And they were all laughing at us because they're like, hemp, hemp's never going to do anything. You know, we're never going to get anywhere. Now here it is 2021, and those same funding institutions are now calling us back saying, hey, can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? You know, hemp is taken off now. I'm just like, you guys are a day late and a dollar short.
No, Greg, you can't yell back that because you were just so far ahead of your time. You were like this. That's the true, you know, those cutting edge leaders are always like, dang you, you could have done this, you know, 10 years ago or 20 years ago and been ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sick of getting all the arrows in the neck. I'm sick of being a pioneer.
Well, you're leading, being the pioneer is also the engineer of the train, and you're in the front. You get to see the wide perspective. Well, yeah.
I hope so. I'd like to be a settler one day.
I was gonna say, what point do you jump off the train to see it happen? I don't know, but soon enough, it's almost there. We feel it. You can see Rebecca gets really excited at that, the very notion that you have that thought all the way over in Florida. As you know, Rebecca left out of Oregon today, and I thought, man, if I would have had a deadline on Rebecca on, okay, you have this long, you have until November 9th to connect this sharp thinker into this program, so that on November 9th, she was going to take off out of Oregon to go to make her way over to Maine, so that we would open up an East Coast office before the new year. That's crazy.
It's pretty neat though. Yeah.
Yep. There we are. So we plan to be meeting up on the East Coast and in some meetings in Washington, D.C. by February. The first week in February is when we plan to meet Rebecca back out there. And we contemplate taking a little, you know, we contemplate that this will be a big talk on hemp as well. And so it'll be interesting to see what we end up manifesting in 2022.
Yeah, sweet. Okay.
Well, keep us
hang in.
informed, Greg, on when you hear about that next meeting, okay? So we can get connected. We'd love to talk with them about what we see on the Better Jobs and how that might be, we could make that whole Better Jobs focus all about the recycling in to support the new industry of hemp manufacturing.
Right. Okay.
That's the goal. I think that's golden.
All right. So did I miss most of the meeting already? Have I?
Well, yeah, that's pretty much, we're down to, you know, honestly, at now we're really touching base with everybody to make sure that if you haven't gotten Teams, you're in it. I need to make sure that everybody is practicing. If you, this Teams is where the major, you know, writers are coming together to really monitor all these programs, all these open grants that we have. We monitor all the industry partners that we have. And if you are, you know, if you're part of that essential team, please, if you have not signed into it, you need to get yourself done. I did a test message today. I'm testing to see who can see it. And I would say it's good to have it on your phone. I downloaded Teams, and so I get a constant notice. That's what I would say for IT. In outreach, I have confidence that Chris and Brandy will hook up soon and go to the next step, which is the brochure. And that will be the next part for our outreach, which now we're ready to send that outreach to send that outreach to our chambers. We've got the network of business advocacy and business associations that we are making that connection now between community system navigators and what's available in services, and making that introducing and making those resources available throughout each of the regions that we have very, very intricately, very precisely chosen to be a match and a complement to what we see as the lead agendas for Economic Development Administration and for SBA, and even for the Department of Labor. I mean, for all aspects that we're watching. Yeah, I think that kind of brings it up to speed as far as I feel. Is that, does anybody have any questions or topics that you feel I've missed?
I guess not.
Okay, I will be down in Medford tomorrow afternoon for some time. I'll be down there, and then I'll be headed straight up here as I have another meeting tomorrow evening up in Cottage Grove. But if you need anything, reach out to me, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I
Misty.
appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
great update.
everyone. Have a
Thanks,
good rest of
guys.
your day.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.